Hey, this is Andy with Rocket City Pinball. Today I'm going to demonstrate my sonic radio light corrector for Foo Fighters. Now, again, lighting is difficult to really show well in videos, but if you look at your game, you'll notice that this light right here is not very well evenly lit. It's a really wide, milky insert, and it has one tiny LED underneath that lights up the whole thing. And you can kind of see in the video, you can definitely see in your game that this does not light up really well. So I've made this fun contraption here. This is the sonic radio light corrector, and what this is, this will mount underneath the playfield in between the existing light board, and it'll provide 8 LEDs here to light up that radio much more evenly. So you see this will sit right underneath the insert like this. This little raised bridge that you can see there, the raised bridge sits behind this section of the insert so that it doesn't let light bleed through that area. It's very easy to install. I'm going to demonstrate that for you here momentarily. First step in that process is to remove the balls from the game, lift up the playfield, and turn off the power to your game because we're going to be dealing with the electronics here. So let me pause and do that, and we'll move from there. Okay, now I've got the playfield up, so I want to point out the board that we're talking about here. So this is the board right here. You're going to have to remove this board to do this, and you have 4 1/4-inch screws to remove the board. And after we do that, we're also going to disconnect this plug right here. Now I want you to take note of the position of the red wire. The red wire is oriented towards the top. It's synced up with the 5-volt position there. So next step, let's remove those 4 screws and get this board loose. Okay, so now I have those 4 screws removed. And now if you flip the board over and you look at the playfield facing side, you see this tiny LED. This is the only light that's supposed to light up that entire insert in there. So that's why we have a lighting problem here. Now the next step is you're going to have to remove this spacer up here and this spacer down here because the thickness of my mount replaces those 2 spacers. So to remove them, if you look at the top side of the board, you'll see there's kind of a slot in between them there, so you can squeeze them together with a tool from the top and then they'll pop right out. So take off this one and this one. And then you also need to remove the connector. It's just a straight pull off the connector. Just again, take note that the red wire lines up with the 5-volt pin. Okay, so as you can see, I've removed the 2 spacers from this location here. So now you're going to bring in my mod, and you'll notice my wiring also has 1 red wire. Now remember, I said the red wire goes to the 5-volt pin. So you're going to take my connector and you're going to put it in place with the red wire at the 5-volt location. Okay, it pushes on just like that. And then when you bring it back into the machine, you'll notice here's 4 pins and you still have the red wire at one specific location here. And you're going to take the connector that's in the machine and you're going to plug it onto these pins with red wire to red wire. So this pin up here correlates to the red wire. So that's going to come in here. Here's my connector, red wire to red wire. Like so. The thickness of the mount replaces those spacers, but there's also this wall, you see this U-shaped wall on the bottom of the mod on the mount, and that sits around the area of the LED and that resistor there to kind of provide a little wall to not have light bleeding out from underneath. So essentially as it goes into the machine, it's going to sit this way, facing up towards the playfield like that. So I'm going to hand the camera off and try to get that into place. So again, you can bring the mod in with the bridge towards the center of the playfield, like this. And then you bring the board in right over the back of it. And then you should be able to line your holes up through the board and through the mod and into your playfield. Okay, so I got the first 2 screws into position. I'm going to go run the next 2 in as well. And then after you've got all 4 screws in, if you want, you can take these excess wires here and you can, if you want to zip tie them to this nearby harness here just to keep them all out of the way, you can do that. And then we'll show you what it looks like from the top. So I'll put these last 2 screws in and then we're finished. Okay, so now that we've got it back in, you can see how much brighter and more evenly lit this light is now, thanks to the sonic radio light corrector from Rocket City Pinball. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out, rocketcitypinball.com.